Welcome everyone. I, Samriddhi Datta, and my group going to speak on the topic coastal zone and coastal morphodynamic variables. We have divided the participants into two groups. Components of coastal zone will be discussed by me, Samriddhi Datta, Sharupa Debnath, Pallavi Biswas, Rohini Mondol, and coastal morphodynamic variables will be discussed by Chitrakhi Sharkar, Orpita Banerjee, Boidika Biswas, and Ishita Basu. I'll start with the introduction. Coastal regions are regions which are the part of the land affected by its proximity by the sea, that is, influence of marine processes, and the part of the sea affected by its proximity to the land, that is, influence of terrestrial processes. Coastal zones can be divided into following zones: splash zone, high intertidal zone, low intertidal zone, low tide zone. Components of coastal zone are sea cliff or dune line, berms, beach face, longshore trough, longshore bar, zone of littoral transport, swash zone, surf zone, and the breaker zone.
Myself, Sharupa Devnath, I will discuss about the splash zone and high intertidal zone. Splash zones are areas which come into contact with the water flow from sea or lakes. They are usually near tidal flow points covering the high tide and low tide areas. This zone is closest to the land and is always exposed to air except for rain or waves from major storms. It has few algae or animals because there is little shelter or food sources, as well as predatory birds. It provides complete protection against the erosive action of abrasive laden seawater, the harsh attack of ozone and ultraviolet rays, incidental impact from boats and floating debris, and the effect of sea life which builds upon all offshore installations. The intertidal zone, also known as the foreshore or seashore, is the area above water level at low tide and underwater at high tide. In other words, the area within the tidal range. This area can include several types of habitats with various species of life, such as sea stars, sea urchins, and many species of coral. Sometimes it is referred to as the littoral zone, although that can be defined as a wider region. Organisms in the intertidal zone are adapted to an environment of harsh extremes. The intertidal zone is also home to several species from different phyla: Porifera, Annelida, Mollusca, Arthropoda, etc. Water is available regularly with the tides but varies from fresh with rain to highly saline and dry salt, with drying between tidal indentions. Wave splash can result residents from the littoral zone. With the intertidal zones, high exposure to sunlight, the temperature can range from very hot with full sunshine to near freezing in colder climates. Floods during the peaks of daily high tides but remains dry for long stretches between high tides. It is inhabited by hardy sea life that can withstand pounding waves such as bar mussels, marine snails, mussels, limpets, shore crabs, and hermit crabs. The high intertidal zone is only covered by the highest of the high tides and spends much of its time as terrestrial habitat.
My name is Pallavi Vishwas and I'm going to speak on the topic low intertidal zone and low tide zone. The intertidal zone is the area where the ocean meets the land between high and low tides. Low intertidal zone, virtually always underwater except during the lowest of spring tides. Life is more abundant there because of the protection provided by the water. The defining characteristics of the intertidal zone is that it is submerged with water during high tide and exposed to the air during low tide. The zone can take many forms from sandy beaches to rocky cliffs. It is common for the intertidal zone to change frequently since it is constantly battered by crushing waves. The intertidal zone is divided into four distinct regions: lower littoral zone, mid littoral zone, upper mid littoral zone, and a splash zone. The intertidal zone experiences two different states: one at low tide when it is exposed to air, and the other at high tide when it is submerged in seawater. Organisms in this area included anemones, barnacles, chitons, crabs, green algae, isopods, limpets, mussels, sea lettuce, sea palms, sea stars, snail, sponges, and whales. Low tide zone, also called the lower littoral zone. This area is usually underwater. It is only exposed when the tide is unusually low.
My name is Rohini Mondol and I am going to speak on the topic components of coastal areas. Beaches. A beach is the wave washed sediment along a coast. Beaches occur where sand is deposited along the shoreline. A beach can be divided into a foreshore zone, which is equivalent to the swash zone, and backshore zone, which is commonly separated from the foreshore by a distinct ridge called a berm. Behind the backshore may be a zone of cliffs, marshes, sand dunes. Cliff. A vertical or nearly vertical exposure of a surface of a rock or a hill or a mountain is known as a cliff. They are generally formed because of the erosion of landforms by the weathering forces of nature. Aside from the seashores or coast, a cliff edge is most commonly found in mountainous areas, escarpments, and along the rivers. Marshes. A marsh is a wetland that is dominated by herbaceous rather than woody plant species. Marshes can often be found at the edges of lakes and streams. Sand dunes. Sand dunes are hills of sand that are made by winds as they billow across desert. With strong long-lasting winds, sand dunes can grow very high and be many miles long. Strong winds can also blow sand dunes very slowly along the desert. Mudflats. Mudflats refer to land near a water body that is regularly flooded by tides and usually barren. Also known as tidal flats, mudflats are formed upon the deposition of mud by tides or rivers. These coastal landforms usually occur in sheltered areas of the coast like cover, lagoon, etc.
My name is Chitrakli Sarkar and I am going to speak on the topic morphodynamic variables. Coastal morphodynamics, that is, the dynamics of beach morphology, refers to the study of the interaction and adjustment of the seafloor topography and fluid hydrodynamic processes, seafloor morphologies, and sequences of change dynamics involving the motion of sediment. Hydrodynamic processes include those of waves, tides, and wind induced currents. Coastal sediments are important in relation to geomorphology in two aspects. First, these are the materials from which landforms are constructed and by which the coastal system adjusts. This is most clearly demonstrated on sandy beaches where the waves expend energy redistributing sediment so that the beach is reshaped towards equilibrium with the waves. Second, the sediments are important because their deposition and preservation provides evidence of past coastal geomorphology. It is not always possible directly to observe the coast evolving, in which case, inference from coastal sedimentary record provides an invaluable tool for interpreting the nature of the past processes and history of coastal evolution.
I, Orpita Banerjee, will be briefing on waves and waves induced currents. Sea waves represent the mechanical energy that has been imparted to the seawater by the stress of the wind acting on the sea surface. To any layman, waves represent the sea surface in motion as the water rises to form the wave crest and sinks in the wave trough. Thus, the sea surface shows periodic ups and downs as the waves is propagated across the air-sea interface. The waves are described by wave height, wave amplitude, wavelength, and wave period. The variety and size of the wind generated waves are regulated by four principal factors. Those are wind velocity, wind direction, phase, and original state of the sea. Although waves do not transport significant masses of of water particles, the waveform itself clearly moves laterally over the sea surface. The stored mechanical energy in the progressive waves is released when they break along a shoreline. As the wave approach shallow water condition, the wave parameters, that is height, length and speed, undergo significant transformations. The point at which the wave breaks is known as the breaker zone or the surf zone. The Schwarz zone is the segment of the beach landward of the surf zone where the water rushes up the beach after a wave breaks. When waves approach a shoreline at an angle, in addition to the normal changes in celerity, height, and length, they suffer refraction. That is, they swing around and tend to align themselves to the bottom contour. Wave refraction determines the distribution of wave energy and the pattern of sediment movement along a coastline. Now, coming to wave induced currents, Langshore currents and rip sails operate in the breaker and surf zones. As the wave approach the shoreline, they are refracted in a complex manner due to the irregularities in the depth of the shelf and the coastline. This produces zones of convergence and divergence both of wave and energy. The offshore sediment transport in rip current zones and onshore or shore parallel sediment transport between them alter the form of a beach rhythmically to enhance the cell circulation pattern.
I am Boidika Biswas, and in this presentation I am going to speak about few morphodynamic variables: storm fair weather hydraulic regime, the beach cycle. Along most shorelines, meteorological factors dominate the hydraulic regime which controls the coastal morphodynamics. In a fair weather condition, the lower shore face and the offshore zones are not affected by waves, so fine grained sediments are deposited from suspension and are reworked by organisms. In a storm condition, much of the lower shore face and possibly the offshore area experience oscillatory shoaling waves and associated processes. Onshore or offshore transportation predominates, and the upper shore face and the beach are extensively eroded. The beach aggregates during fair weather and erodes during storms. The response is termed as beach cycle. The sediments that are taken away from the beach during the storms are deposited in the offshore bars. In fair weather condition, this reverses. Sediments are moved away from the bar and redeposited on the beach. The zone extending from the beach to the bar where the cyclic movement takes place is called the sweep zone. Tides. Tide in the sea result from the gravitational pull of the moon, the sun, and the planets, and from local accuracy. The moon orbits the earth once in 28 days, and the whole system orbits around the sun in 365.2 days. The paths of the moon round the earth and the earth round the moon are both elliptical, so the gravitational force of attraction passes through a maximum and a minimum during each orbit. Twice a month, when the moon is on the same side of the earth as the sun, and when they are on the opposite side, that is at new moon, spring tides occur, having a range of movement greater than the average. When sun and moon are in right angles to each other, their effect gives rise to smaller than average neap tides, which also occurs twice a month. Coriolis force substantially influences patterns of tidal currents. Tides affect on the coast in two important ways: the strength and flow patterns of regularly fluctuating tidal currents and the amount of tidal rise and fall.
I am Ishita Basu and I will be speaking on wind and gravitational processes. Wind. The storm fair weather hydraulic regimes are directly controlled by meteorological factors, mainly wind. Water wave heights and periodicities are dependent upon wind speed, length of fetch, wind duration. Considerable variation exists, however, in the efficiency of the energy transfer from the wind to the water and eventually to the seabed. Wind driven currents result from wind shear on the water surface with energy transferred through turbulent mixing. These currents are indirectly the result of atmospheric circulation systems and operate over wide range of temporal and spatial scales. Surface currents generated by wind stress deviate from the wind direction in response to the Coriolis effect. With depth, this deviation is further intensified by Ekman's spiral effect. The unidirectional wind-driven currents flow mainly offshore. The fluctuations in current strength correlate with variations in wind speed. Storm surge is a specific storm related condition caused by a marked reduction of air pressure and or high wind stress which produce abnormally high water level at the shoreline followed by a drastic lowering of the water level. Intense wave agitation and coastal erosion accompany these surges. Winds also play an important role to evolve coastal dunes and associated aeolian features. Coastal dunes only develop on certain coasts. They are most extensive where there are suitably strong onshore winds, sufficient sediment supply of medium to fine well sorted sand suitable for entrainment, and vegetation to assist in the trapping of that sand. Gravitational processes. Gravitational reworking is important in some coastal settings. Sediment is redistributed both in subaqueous and subaerial condition by a whole range of processes on unstable slopes. Creep, slide, sediment flows. As we have come to the end of our presentation, we would like to thank some people. Firstly, our respected professor for giving us this opportunity to prepare this presentation, and you, dear audience, for patiently listening to us.